To another JT Art Tutorials video. So we're doing something a little different today. So I'm going to tell you a story, personal story of mine when I was a little kid. Not little, maybe 12, 13, whatever. And I'm going to draw it out. So start out with this. So when I was about, I think it was probably around, I was around 12 or so, 12 years old. And I had a group of friends and in the neighborhood friends, kind of friends I biked with, which was around 2011, summer of 2011, and we were riding our bikes down the street here. Look at this. This is a simple bike here. Let's do a simple bike. Seat there. So I had a mountain bike, and my friends, they had BMX bikes. You can see right there, BMX. So we rode to the school. We had a school nearby. Ride to, we hang out, you know, screw around, do all that kind of stuff. So we get to the school, and there's a fence. Fence here. Make these X's here. That'll be the fence. So once we get to the fence here, so behind here, it was never, so there's a wildlife, like a protected like wetland back here. And you were never supposed to go back there. It was kind of a thing that people did. Kids, every single kid in the neighborhood did it. It was kind of, you know, there was never a sign. There was no sign saying no trespassing. There was never no sign and such. And it was kind of this untouched place. I've never been back there before. And see the fence here. So there was I couldn't climb a fence. I could climb a fence, like a small fence, but I couldn't climb a big one. This was a big fence. It went way up like here. My drawing's a little poor because it's hard to tell a story and draw, but this is just an experiment. So the fence is pretty high here. There's like bars between. So group of us. There was about, I think there was a total of 3 of us. I'm not going to use names because one's not around anymore, a couple are, so I'm going to use JT here. I'm going to use LB and LA. So 3 of us. We decide, okay, let's hop this fence. So there was a section of the fence where it had collapsed. There was a part of the fence where a tree had fallen on it, and it kind of, and that one I could get through recently. This was recently, and the fence. So here is it. So here's the tree thing here. The tree, like a big log here. So it's like a big log there. It was leaning on the fence, and there was like a little bit like it was like this, like a wrap around it, like it was kind of stuck between the chains, and you just had to lift this chain link fence up, and you could get in and such. So I go around, they jump, I go around, and that's considered the hard way. That was the easy way. So we go back there, and then the amazing thing was, what I saw was a little lunchbox. Let me do a little lunchbox here. Again, there was never a sign that said we couldn't. People did it. It was kind of a thing. So here's a lunchbox, and there was a lunchbox, and it was covered, just sticking out of the ground. And there was these grass out of here, just coming out, and it was so green. Like, when I say it was green, it was green. So when you can see right here, I also added, this is actually the handle here, but I added this too. There was twigs around it, stuff like that. You know, there's all this stuff. It was a lunchbox. It was sticking out of the ground. It looked like something from The Last of Us, like some of the cities where all the green has returned. Really green. It was like untouched. It was like an area that had been lived in for, like, let's say maybe a week, and then it was never touched again. Really interesting. So we get back there, and it's pretty green back there. It's quite beautiful. It's a little bit hard to get through. Again, it's thick trees here. Gotta get past these. We go back there, and again, people went back there just to hang out. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we wanted a private conversation. We went back there. It was kind of and I did it a couple times after. But go back there, and there's a ton of, like, again, we're behind a school, so a lot of the balls and different kickballs, baseballs, tennis balls, any type of ball you can think of was all back there, like so. And as we're going back there, there's a ball there. So as we're going back there, we found traffic cones, we found all kinds of stuff. Well, the coolest thing we found is, I'm kind of walking through this area here, and it's really muddy. Now, in the summer, this was in the summertime, this is kind of early spring, so there wasn't a lot of rain, and the rain goes back there, and that's why it was all dried out. So, and there's leaves on the ground. There's just these muddy leaves, and it's also very humid back there as well. So kind of like a jungle. So we get back there, and LB looks over and there's a corner kind of closer to the fence line where I came in. He says, JT, do you see that? I said, what do you mean? What do you mean, that pipe there, that piece of PVC pipe? No, you know what that is? And I said, no. And then LA steps in. He says, come on, JT, you don't know what that is. You haven't used one of those before? And I was like, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. And it was something kind of cool. So I'm gonna draw this out. Maybe you can see, you know what it is. This is a tree here, and this. So next to this tree here, this object here. Was just laying there. Turns out it was actually a rocket, one of those actual, like, professional type of rockets you would do that would go like 300-400 feet in the air. Someone actually, and these were expensive, these were not cheap, these were like $300-400 rockets that you could buy online, and one had landed there and it was in good shape, and so LA took it back home. So he actually took it back and restored it, and I think didn't restore it, but I think he was able to sell it for stuff. Again, we didn't split the money. We just let him have it because, again, technically LB found it, but, you know, LA was kind of, we'll just say a sourpuss, so we just allowed him to do it. He was kind of, yeah, we didn't like him particularly. He was kind of a person we didn't really, we hanged around with him, but over time, he was just not great. So, you find this rocket here. And again, we have our bikes. They're outside the fence, and we try not to stay back there too long because our bikes aren't locked up or anything at all. So when our bikes, because they're not locked up, we want to get out of there quick. We got a couple things. I think I got like a tennis ball there, such. Didn't get too much there. I don't remember that getting much. I think I got a soccer ball, maybe a baseball, I'm not sure. Got that rocket out of there, which was nice. I mean, it was in shape. I mean, it wasn't worth that much. When I say 300, 400 bucks, that's probably retail, but this was just a piece of it. And we talked later, and he said, yeah, we could probably get 40, 50 bucks out. It's not really worth it. They still took it home, but again, it's not too much. So again, we get the rocket. We decided to go through, so we hiked through, and this wetland wasn't too big, to my understanding. It was pretty wide open, but there were parts of it that were really tense, so we had to kind of crawl under, like, you know, long bushes here. These bushes were big. So we just crawled under those. Once we got to the end there, myself and LB, we had to do some other stuff, but what we did was I got on my bike because I had to check in every like hour or so. It was kind of a thing. So my friend LB, he didn't have to. Yeah, he didn't have to check in at all. Like literally, he could be out there all day long. His parents didn't care. It was kind of thing. And then LA, he had to check in every like 4 or 5 hours. My parents were a little more strict, so they had to check in more. So I had to go back, check in, go back home, come back out. And again, we went back there a couple more times. I haven't been back there since I was 15 or 16. I think I went back there one time when I was 16. I never did it again because by that point I had overgrown to a point where I even stepped on a beehive and bees came after me. It was a place you didn't want to go, and there was a lot of wasp nests in there. It's not pleasant now. Plus, I wouldn't go anyway. Not only because I can't get back there, it's because I don't want, if it is a wetland, I don't want to disturb it. So at the time, it was a wetland. There was no signs. Now I'm a little more cautious these days because I'm older. So that's the story of JT, LB, and LA. We all went to the park, to this great sanctuary of just greenness all over the place. And yeah, I'm not going to say the name of the school. I'm just going to say that we went back there. It was fun. I knew people that went back there. And again, everybody went back there. And I'm sure people knew it wasn't right, but people did it anyways. And it gets to a point where if almost everybody's going out there, So get back on my bike. And what I had to do is I had to climb out the chain link fence. It was broken at this point. It's fixed now, but back then there was a tree hanging on it, so I had to kind of just crawl my way out. It was I got scratched up, had sticker bushes marks, a couple cuts and stuff. It was pretty rough, but it was a fun experience, I'll tell you what. It's not green like that anymore because it's been cleaned out, so it's not as thick as it was, but well, it was really, really fun. So that's the story of into the wetland area. Me and my friends did. Make sure you like and subscribe this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this story. Hope I could just add some art. I just did some little scribbles. These are not, you don't have to go crazy on this, but this is just something I wanted to share my viewers here, and make sure you like and subscribe. And